Good evening. I'm Felix Lebeski, and welcome back to SL Tonight. Today we're blasting off into a classic 1950s space western, Space Western Comics, number 41 from Charlton. Cowboys with ray guns, alien invaders, and frontier justice on other planets. Interestingly, some of the stories in this issue were written by Walter B. Gibson, the legendary creator behind the Shadow pulp novels and radio show. Let's saddle up and see what Spurs Jackson and his Space Vigilantes are up against this time. The mighty space fleet had landed on the western desert, and the secret of the atom bomb stolen from the U.S. Army by creatures of a hostile world. Then Spurs Jackson risked everything on a flight into space in an untested rocket to eliminate the menace of the Green Men of Venus. When the warlords of Mars and Venus, their own forces shattered, sent the evil little moon men to attack Western America from beneath the Earth's surface, it was up to Spurs Jackson's Space Vigilantes to stamp out the danger below. What was behind an attack by the Civil War cavalry on 1952 truck convoy traveling a modern American highway? It was up to Strongbow to discover the secret of the Phantom hijack. When Hard Luck Katie was beaten and robbed of his roulette winnings, it started Hank Roper on the trail of the jinx of the Black Ridge Range. These stories and more. Space Western Comics. Spurs Jackson and his Space Vigilantes battle the Green Men of Venus. The strange story of not too distant future began on Spurs Jackson, Arizona ranch. Yes, it's an atom-powered one-man spaceship. If it tests right, I'll build a fleet of them. I need you as Space Vigilantes once interplanetary travel begins. We come here to get organized right now, Spurs. They have definitely determined that the recent seismographic disturbances are not due to sunspots, but to atomic explosions on the planet Earth. Summon our space fleet, we'll attend to this at once. Spurs Jackson was plenty sharp with his prediction. At that very moment, trouble was brewing on the planet Venus. Up from the 50-mile-high forests of the perpetually clouded planet Venus, Vodor and his tribe take off in their spaceship. Once beyond the cloud banks, Vodor, our lens scopes will magnify Earth scenes to almost full size. On Earth, there's a big shipment of atomic bomb parts coming through for tests by the government. First, isn't our job to protect it? It's the Army's job, Hank, but we may as well tell the Space Vigilantes to be on call. It's a part of Earth called Arizona, Vodor. These Cruds vehicles look highly suspicious. We must speed to intercept them. It's good you pulled in the lens scope. The friction of, UX. The friction of the Earth's atmosphere would have melted it like our outer coating of expendable plastic. Look, a whole shower of shooting stars. I never saw such bright ones. It's getting towards dawn, and that's when they are the brightest. The perfect spot, UX. Order the men to emerge from their ships and deploy for ambush. Hey, a lot of cactus must have sprouted since our last trip. I can hardly pick the road through it. Say, this cactus has come alive. These Earthians are easy meat, because they're meat folk, not vegetable creatures like ourselves. They have nerves. Those must have been paragons, the way they numbed us. We've been out cold for hours. Look how high the sun is. Here's a confirmation on the report that the trucks with atomic bomb equipment were stolen by a tribe of cactus people. Order all jet planes to scan the terrain. 3 jet planes spying on us, Vodor. Numb them with the long-range paraguns while we assemble an atomic bomb. At Spurs Ranch. Spurs, come quick and hear the radio reports. Green men from space have grabbed our atomic bomb equipment and set up a stronghold on the desert. It's a job for the Vigilantes. Pilots of jet planes are being numbed at their controls. Infantry are withdrawing to entrenchments and escape the paragons. You're right, Hank. Call out the Vigilantes. There's only one way to lick the green men. That's to rush them. So get started and I'll come along with a last-minute smokescreen. Look, Vodor. Stupid Earthian vehicles approaching to the attack from beyond the trenches where the soldiers retreated. Train the paragons on them and blast them at close range. The jeeps must be almost there by now. I can overtake them in a few seconds. I guess nobody ever tried to use a spaceship as a hedge hopper, but here goes. What was that? One of our jets? Not a chance. Compared to that, a jet plane would be like a snail going backward. I don't know what kicked up all that dust, but it hid those vehicles from our paragunners. Though radio wasn't kidding about the green men. Won't my vigilantes be surprised? Stop that one! He's getting away with an atomic bomb! Here they are, boys. Come and get 'em. Get started, Vodor, while I paralyze this upstart. Nice roping, Hank. You don't need a paragun to numb these rum-dums. But there goes their head man, off to his home planet. I'd better grab my space chaser and follow. Nice shooting, Strongbow. I'll see you I'll be seeing you. Well, we've settled the greenies, except for those that got away with the bomb. Let's hope that Spurs catches them and gets it back. I'm passing our moon already. Wherever we're headed, well, we'll get there fast. From the size of those cloud banks, this must be the planet Venus. Well, here goes, and let's hope my atomic brakes work. Brakes are holding even better than I hoped, but look at the reception committee. I've got to think quick. If I wreck myself, it's still no worse than getting blasted by the Paragon. Just the proper amount of reverse rocket power, and I can bring the ship down on one of the palace balconies. Hear that? Our Paragons have finished the Earthian. Now let us analyze the Earth bomb and see what makes it tick. Wham! I'll tell you why it ticks. It has a clock device to delay its action. Stand back, Earthful. Remember, I have but to press the switch to deliver an atomic blast. But you're no longer on Earth. You're back on Venus. Remember, so I'll just press the switch myself. Click. That gives you just 5 minutes to decide what to do to me. I already made up my mind. Tick, 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 tick. Yes, and we'll need all of them to get started in our own spaceship. Minutes must be a measure of an Earthian time. Before Vodor and his crew can get fully away, the atom bomb explodes. The Spurs, headed earthward, as clear as the mighty blast mushrooms up from the Venusian cloud. Boom! Ah, boys, I missed Arizona completely and landed here in New York City. But why are you here in Central Park? Come along, we'll show you. We brought them in by special request. Let's go in and take a look around. Alright, but then we'll head for Arizona. You never tell what happened out there. The end. Things were tough enough on the Black Ridge Sheep Ranch, even before Hard Luck Katie won enough stake at gambling to quit the outfit. But there was a vicious scheme behind the easy money, as Hank Roper discovered when he went to work for Branks the Jinx Black Ridge Ranch. That's Hard Luck, Katie, foreman of the Black Ridge Sheep Ranch owned by Nancy Weinstead. Hard Luck's doing well, Hank. Now that he's changed his own luck, Sheriff, maybe he can shake the Jinx of Black Ridge Ranch. Boy, this $2,000 is all I needed to shake loose of Black Ridge Ranch to keep. See what I mean, Tim? I got Barney Burns posted at Black Ridge to handle what comes next. You sure called the turn, Silk. Sorry, Miss Nancy, but I'm leaving. I can't help it if you're short-handed. Oh, Barney, that makes you my foreman. I'll go tell the boys. I'm foreman now, boys. Hard Luck won himself a pile with the long chance, and he's taking the streamliner east. Oh yeah? With all the dough he still owes us? We'll see. Later on the way to catch the train. Come on, you, get out and shell out. We want that cash we heard about. Try and get it, you maverick. Well, we tried, and we got it. Sheriff, a couple gazebos with masks grabbed Hard Luck while I was driving and catch the steamliner. That's so. I better be settling up and getting over to the depot in case they're taking that train instead. And the steamliner is about to pull out. What do you mean skipping town? I came here to find Hard Luck Katie and collect some dough wheels. You mean you found Katie and you collected all he had? Come along, you two. Well, Sheriff Mayhew did a couple good deeds for the day, shoving a pair of innocent sheep herders into his jail. Now, Black Ridge Ranch is really short-handed, Tim. I'm going up there and buy the place. It could have been the boys from the ranch, Sheriff. Anyway, I lost my 2,000. Easy come, easy go. That gives me an idea, Sheriff. Let's amble over to the long chain. There's a couple of strays losing more than they may be able to account for, Sheriff. I'll stay here and watch them for a while, Hank. While out at the Black Ridge Ranch. I guess this ranch is jinxed, Nancy. The way you're getting more and more short-handed, why not sell out me right now at a fair price? I might if I knew why you're so anxious to buy. There's no mystery about that. I already bought the smaller ranches along the ridge, and I'd like to operate them all as one. I'll be over at Good Booty's Ranch in case you decide to take my offer. Later. Hi Hank, I just decided to end the jinx on this ranch by selling out the silk latterman. That skunk gets around faster and bad news. You hang on to the ranch, Nancy. In a couple hours, I'll bring you all the sheep herders you need. Better get over to Booty's and let Silk in on this. Arresting somebody, Sheriff? You bet. I watch these varmints lose $1,000 each. Exactly the amount stolen from Hard Luck. They won't talk. If they won't talk, here's a guy who will. Come on back, Tim Regan. Before this rope slips up accidental-like around your neck, you'd better show us the inside of that gaming table. Alright. Like I thought, Sheriff. Rigged with 2 electromagnets to make players win or lose, as the house man seems fit. Tim tossed away money to Hard Luck so he could quit the Black Ridge outfit, but he knew he'd win it back from these 2 who stole it from Hard Luck. Yeah, we made a deal with Silk. I'll admit it, now that I see how he double-crossed us. Why does Silk want Nancy's ranch? You answered that one, Tim. Years back, Railroad graded the brow of Black Ridge for a right-of-way, then abandoned the whole project. Silk made a deal to sell it to the state for a scenic highway. He'd get twice what he paid for all that ridge ranches for that right-of-way, and we still have the ranches. What do I do now? Put these fellows in jail and let the other pair out? I got a better idea. Let's talk to Hardluck. What I'm suggesting, Hardluck, is to take them all along, including Tim Regan, and make them help Nancy with her sheep herding. Good idea. You can count on me, and I know a lot of others who will join up, just to show up so glad. But on Booty's Ranch, which joins Nancy's, things are going badly off the bat. The beat, thanks to Barney Burns' spying. So Hank Roper thinks he can outguess me. I'll show you how to outwit a dimwit. Booty, let these dogs get half stars. We'll make it look like they broke loose. And naturally, they'll go right for the broken fence that Nancy's sheepman didn't get around to fixing. Now let's get down below and see the fun. You mean the dogs will run Nancy's sheep until they drop? They'll knock them right off the cliff and Nancy will be out of business. Here they come now. Yip. There's one time I won't go to sleep counting sheep. I hear Booty's dogs, they're running sheep, Hank. I'll guide the other jeeps over and cut them off. Meanwhile, Hank and Hardluck, followed by 2 more jeeps, are approached from the opposite direction. You can't drive on the edge, Hank. One bump will send us over. You're forgetting that it's all been graded years ago, Hardluck. Hank is right. Hitting the rim of the ridge at high speed, the jeeps ride smoothly and divert the sheep from the brink of the cliff, over which they were headed. What do you know? Those jeeps cut off the sheep for fair. Yeah, but we can still run some of them. Let's get up there. Here come the dogs. Fine, we'll stick them on the sheep. Then when we find the sheep. Barney, help me! These brutes have gone mad from hunger! As Silk is about to go over the cliff, Hank and Hardluck arrive on the scene. Hank's rope reaches Silk in the nick of time, while the dogs flee before a hail of bullets. Here's a rat I found trespassing on your property, Miss Nancy. Should I turn him over to the sheriff? Yes, for that and about 60 other charges. Long, Hardluck. Lay off the gambling and stick to your ranching. That'll be easy. Now we've enough herders, thanks to you, Hank. The Red Men from Mars. Chief Big Bear sat looking at the Little Bear, otherwise known as the constellation Ursa Minor, sometimes called the Little Dipper by our modern amateur stargazer. When night lay black and velvet above the Dakota prairies, Chief Big Bear loved to contemplate the star-studded heavens and reflect upon the fact that his ancestors had once roamed the boundless plains with only these same stars for guides. In particular, Chief Big Bear studied the bright star that formed the tip of the Little Bear's big tail at the end of the handle of the Small Dipper. according to whichever you might choose to class it. But the Indians of Big Bear's tribe had formed their own legend regarding that particular star. Slowly, Chief Big Bear begins to recite the legend to himself with all the details that his grandfather had given him during his early childhood. It was a story about strange creatures from another world who had came from that very star to promise the red man new paths to freedom. The legend went that the Indians had not listened, so when the white man had come, not from the stars, but from rivers and across the plains, it was not surprising that the Indians had lost their heritage. Swift meteors streaked across the sky, for this was their season. Not once did Chief Big Bear's eyes turn to follow them. He was contemplating that one bright star at the tip of the Lipper's hammer. If someone will watch long enough, the legend said, men from that faraway world might visit Earth again. Long minutes passed, and the chief's eyes opened wider, not in surprise, but to make sure of what he saw. Unless his imagination had tricked him, and Chief Big Bear was decidedly unimaginative, something had eclipsed the star he watched. Literally, the star had vanished without a blink, nor did it return as the chief stared. Soon, Big Bear made out the expanding shape of the object that had obscured the star. It was a roundish, almost the shape of an enlarging sun, but at first it was completely dark. Then it showed against the twinkle of the starlight. Later, it showed illumination of its own. As the thing came closer and closer to the ground, Chief Big Bear observed that the glow came from openings like portholes inside of a circular craft. Chief Big Bear didn't even say "Hoof." He simply repeated words that he had heard white men use. Flying saucer! The disc skimmed to earth, revealing itself as a craft some 50 or 60 feet in diameter. A sector opened, and out stepped figures that were vaguely human. A searchlight played across the plain and spotted Chief Big Bear. Tonight, in keeping with tradition, Chief Big Bear was wearing the full regalia of his tribe. Long ago, he had promised his great-grandfather that he would spend one night every year upon the spot in the exact center of the reservation, watching the legendary star. Now, as he rose and strode to meet the creatures from the flying saucer, Chief Big Bear made a most imposing figure indeed. The strange men held a brief discussion in a language unlike any that Chief Big Bear had ever heard upon these prairies. Their spacesuits were baggy, topped with helmets resembling oxygen, but they threw these back and showed their faces when Chief Big Bear reached them. One studied the chief closely and ejaculated a single word. How? You have read my thought. Chief raised a finger and tapped his feathered forehead. That is the very word in my own mind. We know all things that pass in your mind, replied one of the strangers. Become as brothers, noble red man. None can be brothers of the red men, proclaimed Chief Big Bear, unless they are red men too. At that, the strangers held a rapid conversation in their peculiar tongue, and one of them looked over the job as spokesman, putting the query, Noble Redman, have you ever heard of the planet Mars? At that, Chief Big Bear nodded. It is called the Red Planet, the spokesman declared. Since we have come straight from Mars, the Red Planet, we are red men too. My people have a legend, mused the chief, halting aloud, about a race of strangers from a star, but they did not call it by the name of Mars. Of course not, stated the spokesman. That is the name used by the white men. You know about the white men too? We know everything. Thousands of years ago, our minds picked up all that happened on this world of yours. We could project ourselves here in thought, but only recently did we produce this wonder machine that transports our physical bodies from world to world. Chief Big Bear bowed in acknowledgement of such mighty mind. Then, what can I do to serve you, masters? The spokesman smiled, then held a conversation with the others in a language which, by his own statement, could only be Martian. Finally, he declared, We are not masters, we are your friends. We come to free you from the tyranny that oppresses you. We, the Red Men of Mars, shall aid you, the Red Men of Earth. Chief Big Bear bowed new acknowledgement. You must give us garb of the sort you wear, stated the spokesman for the Martians. Let us live with you while we learn your ways and you learn ours. The chief then led them to his teepee where he offered them a ceremonial pipe of peace. When they had finished their smoke, he supplied them with regalia similar to his own. While they were switching from their odd suits into the garb of the American Indian, Chief Big Bear stepped into the opening of the teepee and looked towards the planet Mars, shining ruddy above the eastern horizon where faint streaks of dawn were already visible. It is early morning, he announced. Come, we must ride into town. We shall visit the rodeo. Martian red men were not at a depth of horsemanship as their Dakota brothers, but they fared reasonably well. It was towards noon, however, when they reached Prairie City, where the rodeo was in progress. They were ushered through on their horses into an arena packed with people who cheered their arrival. Chief Big Bear prodded his horse and turned to the others, shouting, "Follow me!" With a war whoop that the Martians imitated, the chief led a charge upon a covered wagon. He raised his bow and fired an arrow, something which the Martians tried to copy but managed very horribly. Men dressed like pioneers fired blank shots back at Chief Big Bear and his tribe, all part of the spectacle recalling the days of the Old West. Then, charging in on horses, came soldiers in blue uniforms, the U.S. cavalry of long ago. These were capable horsemen, cavalry from a nearby army base. They clashed with the Indians who warded off the clanking sabers with their bows. It all seemed in fun until Chief Big Bear shouted to his companions, "These are American soldiers, men, sent here to capture you. Fight them, red men." Only momentarily were the Martians puzzled. Then, though they wore the garb of Chief Big Bear, he shouted at them in their own strange tongue, repeating what he had said about the troops in blue. Big Bear's companions went berserk. They tried to beat down the cavalry with bows, only to have them broken. Then the flat sides of sabers were thwacked. Then suddenly they were being rounded up, all except Big Bear. Deftly, the Dakota chief wheeled his horse to one side and spoke to the American commanders, who promptly rode in and saw to it the strange breed of the red men were actually taken prisoners. Then, as they shouted vehemently in that strange tongue of theirs, Chief Big Bear actually smiled and said to the cavalry commander, "Let me be the interpreter. I studied Russian when I was taking my degree of Doctor of Philosophy at Harvard. They made the mistake of talking that language when I met them." He walked over to the glum Tommies whose clumsy effort to receive him had failed. "I knew who you were before you landed," Chief Big Bear told the prisoners. "The star I was watching was Polaris, the tip of the Little Bear's tail, or the end of the Small Dipper's handle. Polaris, North Star, pointing the direction from which you came. Mars, the Morning Star, was in the east." Obligingly, Chief Big Bear translated it into Russian for those who didn't know English. Then he added, "After all, it takes a lot of worlds to produce red men. Dakota red men, Martian red men," he gestured to the prisoners, "and these, Uncle Joe's red men." The end. Spurs Jackson and his Space Vigilantes deal with danger below. While Spurs Jackson is receiving an official welcome in Manhattan for saving the world from 2 attacks from outer space, a mighty battle takes place between super space fleets midway between Mars and Venus. We know that you ousted Karak of Mars and blasted the palace of Vodar on Venus, but what became of those criminals, Spurs? For all I know, they may be battling it out with each other somewhere out in space right now. Vodor! Karak of Mars! Later, as the crippled flagships of the 2 demolished space fleets drift together, their commanders express mutual recognition. "Stole those ships from Martian space fleet, and I thought you were Spurs Jackson, trying to cut me off from the Earth fleet. I was looking for him with my Venus fleet, and I thought your ships were his. We were both as stupid as Earth folk, or we would have remembered that they have no space fleet. But Earth has a moon, and a large one. We can use it as a base for an attack on Earth itself. We are drifting towards the side of the moon that Earth folk never see, so they can never guess our plan. Sometime later, the moon's gravity brings the disabled ship to rest. Here come 2 of the moon borers now. We'll make friends with them." The In fact, Earthmen are so stupid they don't know their moon is inhabited. They're inviting us to their domain below, exactly where we want to go. I've heard that these borers have penetrated the very core of the moon, and this proves it. It also gives us a way to conquer the Earth. At the moon's core, drill a straight tube to the moon's surface and we'll construct missiles to carry your people to Earth. On Earth, you will not have to puff your cheeks to retain an air supply. But suppose the Earth folk attack my followers, as they did yours. Your people can bore their way underground and extend operations there. With incredible speed, ships of borers completed the 1,000-mile tube from the moon's core to the side towards Earth, and were loaded in the missile car. Fired like projectiles from a huge cannon, the cars sped earthward, attaining a velocity so great they became invisible to the human eye. But in the great observatory atop Mount Palomar, look at these curious streaks on the photo taken by the 200-inch telescope. They can't be meteors, and they're definitely headed earthward. I charted their objective as the Gold Canyon region below Rocky Dam. This is a job for Spurs Jackson. We'll contact him at once. Look what just came off the teletype, Spurs. Palomar reports missiles from space, using Gold Canyon as the target. Round up the rest of Vigilantes, men, and have them bring jeeps. Later, these unearthly space critters don't give Spurs no peace. It's either Mavericks from Mars or Venus varmints. Wonder what it'll be this time. We'll know soon enough. There's Rocky Dam ahead. Spurs questions the foreman in charge of the nearly completed dam. My construction crew reported seeing some fireworks down by the old Nugget mine, 5 miles below here. Let's go. There's some of the fireworks now, Hank. Small creatures springing out. Watch us climb that slope. There's more of them, Spurs. Where are we seeing things, or what did happen? Those missiles simply exploded and the occupants dropped to Earth and bored into the ground. Let's get down to the old mine. Those half-human sand bugs have come out somewhere. I figure it'd be in the old mine shafts. Let's get in there. Look out, you fellows. There's a couple of varmints now. Let's get them. I've roped one of those monkeys. Hey, the thing's getting away with my rope. Hi, Strongbow. Know where I can get another rope? I just lost mine to one of those dogies with the pointed heads. Hey, stay back. Say, that critter really meant to get me. I get him now. He bored back into the floor so fast you missed him. I guess this region never did see such ornery critters. Never. At least not since first white man came here. Come on, men. We're getting out. They'll be honeycombing the whole shaft trapping them. Get up on the slope and keep herding them down this way whenever they pop up. We gotta confine them to the area of the mine shaft. On the way you're racing from the dam, I expect to see the borers drilling holes in them. They will be if they don't hold them where they are. You've got to open the emergency sluices right away. But that would send the impounded water down Rocky Canyon. I need an official order to do that. There's your order. Those borers will wreck everything. And that goes for your precious dam, too. They'll treat your concrete like cheese when they get to it. You're right. I guess releasing the water is the only way to save the dam. If you want to get real technical, it's the only way to save the world before the borers underrun it. Released in a tremendous Niagara, the waters of the half-filled reservoir roar down through the Rocky Canyon in a mighty flood that sweeps all before it, including the moon borers. Look at that flood come, and look at the borers go. They're taking shelter in the mine shaft so the water won't get them. And there goes more of them, too late for Spurs to catch them. Yeah, well, he sure sent something else to do the trick. That flood crest would be over the mine entrance. Pouring in through the shaft, the hedge tide inundates every passage to the old mine, last refuge of the vicious moon bolt. After the flood passed, nary a sign of them. Must have drowned in their own burrows. But from rock they bored, big flood wash up these nuggets. Old mine now good again. It'll take 2 years for the reservoir to reach its former level, but it might have taken 2 centuries to wash out those creatures any other way. As for damages, the gold from the nugget mine was paid for. Yeah. And finally, Strongbow uncovers Phantom Hijacker. What's this? Have the days of the Old West returned, or have these truckers somehow tumbled back on the last century? Something certainly is out of whack for U.S. troops at Custer's period to be attacking a modern motor transport of a thorough highway. If you guys think you're pulling a gag, I'll show you different with this service automatic. Drop that gun. Take the fool alive, men. We don't want to leave bodies around to attract buzzards. They give us away. Bam, bam, boom, bang. They're gonna march us into that cave. Yeah, so we'll be blamed for stealing our truck and its load, like those other truckers who have been disappearing lately. A couple more customers, Kirby. Got room for them? Plenty of room way in the back, where they'll be good and miserable. Truckers are stowed away, boss. Good enough, Pete. I sent the truck over through Panther Pass to the border, so let's get it on our way. That guy came close to clipping you, boss. So he did. Which reminds me, I need a new epaulette. You better get one for me, Pete. Because we don't want anyone else to even suspect that Miles Ralston, GMG Star, is hijacking trucks and shipping them over the Mexican border with all their merchandise. You can say that again, Miles. Here's a new epaulette, boss. I got it from the wardrobe department. Hang it with my beard, Pete. I have to hurry. I have a date with Maureen Dawn, our leading lady. Oh, Miles, I just saw a truck going up Panther Pass. Could it be another stolen one? I wouldn't know, Maureen. You'd better ride over there tomorrow and see what you can find out. Meanwhile, don't talk to anyone about it. By the next day, the missing express truck had been reported, but even the local sheriff was dubious about it. Sheriff, as a representative of Transco Trucks, I authorize you to offer a $5,000 reward for the arrest of those hijackers. Sorry, but first you'll have to prove those trucks were actually hijacked. Strongbow here will tell you there's no outlaws in these parts. For 5,000, Strongbow will go look for some. Other Indians have same idea. How? Who? What? Which? We aren't Indians. We're just movie extras working for GMG. We're waiting for the boys and Blue to show up for a sham battle. You see them, tell them. Maybe Strongbow better look for missing movie actors. Here's something that might help. This looks like real battle clip, not sham battle. The next thing to hunt is track of truck tires. Tracks lead straight to Panther Pass. No good place for truck or anybody. Look out, Big Panther! Ah! Why, Miles Ralston must have sent me here hoping that Panther would attack me. I find this where truck was hijacked. It's from the costume that Miles wore. He must be a hijacker. We look for their hideaway now. Maybe over in Ghost Cave near here. Why, I hear whispers, like ghostly voices. They come from back the cave, up along the loop and down here. Ghosts sound like prisoners to me. I whisper back. Let's rush that guy. Not a chance. He'd kill us for sure. You make quick rush. Don't worry about guard. Hear that whisper? Must be coming from the entrance to the cave. Don't worry about guard. I take care of it. Alright, so what are we waiting for? Let's go. Our friend sure took care of that guard. Strongbow, here come the hijackers. Have truckers take guns from guard. You lead truckers around north side of hill. Strongbow go other way. Decoy hijackers. Hey, there's one of the more movie extras playing an Indian part. He must have been to Ghost Cave. Come on, we'll catch him. There he goes, into that ghost. We got him boxed now. Walk with hands up. We have you covered. No use, men. We're surrounded and there must be 50 of them. Hands up. We have you. We have you covered. Walk with hands up. Hands up. Walk with hands up. What goats we were. Now they're marching us out the other way. One false move needs an arrow in the back. Hey, boss, look at that sign up ahead. Leaving Echo Canyon. Why, that phony Indian? He's all alone. Those other shouts were echoes. Turn around and we'll fix him. Strongbow wing one, then duck like duck. A lot better than sit like duck. There they are. Get 'em. You bet we will. Good work, Strongbow. You marched them right into our hands. I figured we meet coming through Echo Canyon. I was fed up being a grade B movie actor, that's all, Sheriff. But you couldn't make any grade as a hijacker, not with Strongbow around. So come along, Alston. Thanks for riding along with Spurs Jackson and Space Vigilantes. If you enjoyed this classic space western adventure, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what other Golden Age gems you'd like to narrate next. I read all the comics. Until next time, keep your ray gun handy, your boots dusty. And Felix Lebeski for SL Tonight. Good night.